Hey and welcome to Fun Swedish! This video today is going to be extra useful for those of you who are already living in Sweden or planning to move here, because we're going to talk about svenska myndigheter, Swedish state agencies. Yay! Woo! Super fun, right? Okay, maybe not that fun, but pretty useful. And hopefully interesting if you're not living in Sweden, since we're going to learn a lot about how Swedish society works. So let's get started with the first myndighet in our myndighet series. Number 1, Skatteverket. Skatteverket is not only number 1 in our list, but also number 1 in Swedish people's hearts. Because Skatteverket is the most popular myndighet. It's seen as the most efficient and effective of all state agencies. The favorite one. Like if you had siblings and your mom clearly had a favorite one. And every time you bring a bad grade, she said, "Why can't you be more like your brother Anders?" This is what Skatteverket is for all the other myndigheter. But what is Skatteverket? Skatteverket is the Swedish tax agency, but it's also so much more for a Swede. Let's start by looking at the word. Skatt has two meanings. It can mean treasure and tax. And these days, Skatteverket is extra relevant because we will soon need to do our inkomstdeklaration, which is Swedish for income declaration. The last day to file the regular inkomstdeklaration is the 3rd of May, so make sure that you don't forget to do that. If you have been living in Sweden for at least a year, you might get a letter from Skatteverket saying dags att deklarera, which means time to declare. The taxes, of course, not your love for someone. Once you get that letter, it might feel a little bit like you're playing the lotto. You open it and go to the last page, hoping to see the words få tillbaka. Få tillbaka means receive back. What you get back is, in this case, money. Since it means that Skatteverket counted all the skatt you paid during the year and decided it was too much. So they send you some money back. This can be one of the reasons why Swedish people trust Skatteverket. On the other hand, you can also read ska betala, which means shall pay, meaning that you have to pay extra. That is not a fun day. It might mean there is no money for vacation this year. But back to talking about Skatteverket. Like I just said, they don't only take care of the taxes. They do much more than that. First of all, they're the ones in charge of giving you the personnummer, which means the personal number, the Swedish ID number, and also your tax number, which gives you access to life in Sweden. Many things become very complicated if you don't have a personnummer. From opening a bank account to getting a gym membership. Everything is designed around the personnummer in Sweden. A common question you can get is, har du personnummer? Which means, do you have a personal number? And if you do, then they might ask, vad är ditt personnummer? What is your personal number? But if you're a Swede born in Sweden, then you get a personnummer as soon as you're born. You're barely conscious, but already ready to pay taxes. Another thing you need to know about the personnummer is that it consists of 12 digits, 12 siffror. The first 8 numbers are the date of your birth, and the last 4 are secret combination. You should share only when it's absolutely necessary. Great, that's all you need to know about personnummer. Now let's go back to Skatteverket. So when else do you need to contact them? Well, if you move, then you talk to Skatteverket. If you get married or divorced, then you talk to Skatteverket. Children, talk to Skatteverket. And if you die, well, maybe not you, but someone is going to talk to Skatteverket. All major life changes are registered in Skatteverket. It all ends up in something called folkbokföringsregistret, which can be translated to something like the People's Pre-Book Register, the People's Registry. And the People's Registry is open for everyone to look at. Because in Sweden we have Offentlighetsprincipen, another of these long myndighets words. Offentlighetsprincipen is the principle of public access to all the official records. which means that all this information we just talked about is completely public. Where you live? Public. Who you live with? Public. Are you married? Public. You can easily Google all this information for all Swedes registered in Sweden, which often shocks many of our students at first. They normally ask us, what about stalkers? Isn't it dangerous? But to be completely fair, we don't have many issues with stalkers in Sweden, at least not what I know. And in the very rare cases in which you would have an issue like this, you can apply for a special permit to have all this public information private. But Sweden defaults to open. The thing that probably shocks our students the most is when we tell them that even how much you earn is also public, because your income declaration is public as well. The main reason for this radical transparency is to avoid corruption. You can even know how much the Swedish Prime Minister earns. Nowadays, some people say that this transparency becomes very handy if you're dating in Sweden. With a couple of clicks, you can know a lot about your potential date. How old they are, when their birthday is, where they live, if they're married, if they have pets or cars. You can even know their zodiac sign. And of course, if they have a criminal record. There is one exception to all this information being available. Children are protected for this level of transparency. So you won't be able to know if your date has children so easily. Better just ask them and don't be so creepy. Their information about their income is not so easily available, but if you really want to know, you can actually find out. So those were some of the most important things to know about Skatteverket. But wait, we still have some important and complicated Skatteverket vocabulary to learn. If they ever ask you about your legal address, to open a bank account, or to sign up for a gym, then they might ask you for your folkbokföringsregistret. For bigger things, you might need to show a personbevis, which is a little bit like a birth certificate, but it has more uses and it depends also what you want to apply for. But normally it says something about where you live, where you're born, and maybe your legal status. And if you ever move, which you might need to do a lot if you live in Stockholm, then you might need to fill in something called flyttanmälan, which is basically to inform Skatteverket that you changed your legal address. So that was it for our first episode about Svenska Myndigheter. Hope you find it useful. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and put a like so that more people can see our videos and learn Swedish in a fun way. Tack så jättemycket. Vi ses nästa vecka med mer Svenska Myndigheter. If you like this video and our teaching style, then we have full-on Swedish courses as well. You can either go to our website and join one of our live courses starting soon. Arrange for us to teach at your company, or you can take one of our video courses. And if you buy one of the video courses with the link below, then we're going to give you a 10% discount. Plus, if you don't like it, then we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go and check them out! Så, vi ses nästa vecka. Hej då!